wanted to share my reaction and thoughts to the new Superman movie directed by James Gunn. It is a lot of fun. It's a fresh reboot for the DC universe overall. And I've got a lot of mixed thoughts on it, though. I enjoyed it overall. There's plenty of great things to be happy with and for kids, families, fans to enjoy there. But there is a little baggage and things that keep me from putting it too high in my ranking here. So happy to make a video to express all of that. The first and biggest takeaway is how there's hardly any world building, or at least like world establishing. This is the first cinematic installment in this new DC universe that James Gunn is now running. And they really throw the audiences in head first. They do not give you time to catch up with it. They're not trying to piecemeal things. They are assuming you know a lot about the world. And it almost made me think of like, my best comparison was if Spider-Man Far From Home, the 22nd Marvel movie, was the first way that the MCU started off, where, oh yeah, here's this popular Spider-Man guy and he's going on this adventure. Here's Nick Fury. He helps them a lot. You should already know that. Here, they're mentioning the Avengers a few times. Here's this villain who knew about Tony Stark. There's this lost stuff where it's really throwing you into the middle of it. And if you didn't know all this stuff, that's fine. You should have already known it. Well, in this case, there are no previous installments. There's not much to go off of, except for the fact that fans generally know the Superman story. We know about alien, superpowered being from another planet comes here, do-gooder, his red, yellow, and blue suit, fighting against Lex Luthor, kryptonite is his weakness, all those sort of elements. And that's great. I'm actually glad about a lot of that. I wouldn't want something that becomes boring because one of the most famous stories in all of American mythology tries to speak down to its audience or take things really slowly. I actually appreciate a lot of that. But the problems were when it becomes subversive and elements where an audience assumes things, suddenly it changes stuff. It's like, well, if this has changed, then what about other elements? I don't want to get into spoilers there, but that's something that I kept on feeling. An easy one is that Jonathan Kent, Pa Kent, Clark Kent's father figure person, is still alive. And in several other cinematic iterations, that's funny. I said udder and he raises cows, whatever. That character, Jonathan Kent, is dead before he becomes fully a superhero like we know him as. And so that was refreshing. I'm totally happy with that. It's just tough to know what is known, what's not, what heroes exist. How does Krypton work? That was another thing that really threw me off. Some stuff about his backstory in Krypton that seemed a little changed. And so that was one of the big things that sort of threw me for a loop and was hard to keep up with throughout the whole movie. Some other things to throw in. The music. Everyone's going to ask about the music, of course. It is great to hear John Williams' theme, but there's not much more to it than that. I liked how Hans Zimmer kept it fresh. It's nothing close to John Williams' theme, which, admittedly, John Williams is the greatest composer of all time, and he wrote he wrote the most famous superhero theme. I'll say that. Famous non-lyrically, people throw in the Spider-Man or Batman thing that has lyrics to it, but I would say that is the most famous theme. Ba-ba-dun. It's so good. You're never going to beat that for the character. And that's fine, but I wish they had built upon it maybe, or used it sparingly, but no, it's the main theme of this movie. It's probably played more in this movie than is in the original 78 movie. I'd be interested to hear if someone's made any comparisons about that. It was neat to see Krypto, the little dog, Krypto the dog. And I have such mixed feelings about him. Holy cow, like he's quite a unique type of dog where it's not just like the loyal pet that we're used to. This guy's quite a bundle, quite a difficult one to take care of, but also comes in handy at times. Bit of a wild card going on, and there could be some mixed feelings about that. all throughout it. A big element for me about any Superman story, which I'll admit right now, I'm not a big Superman fan. He's a great character, happy to see him on screen. I love the truth, justice, and the American way, or whatever they're doing nowadays. But overall, since he's so overpowered, it's tough to know where to go with the character. So I'm glad to see them really trying a few different things here, at least when we go cinematically in that way. And of course, a big thing is the villain, therefore, that you have to have someone keeping up with it. And a classic way that they'll do this is simply to have him go against a fellow Kryptonian. That's what we saw a lot in the DC Extended Universe, Man of Steel, all of that. But no General Zod this time. He's going against a straight Lex Luthor. Nicholas Hoult gives the best performance of the entire movie. He is so riveting. He is brilliant and obsessive all throughout. I love it. He'll probably be my favorite villain of the year. Looking forward to watching some of his tactics again and how he's able to keep up. It was so great. I said, he's the best performance of the movie, and he really keeps up. I'm glad to see him, and little bit of spoiler here, he doesn't die, which is fantastic. I want to see how they're going to progress. Is he going to put together a Legion of Doom or anything like that? I think there's lots of potential there. Happy to see all of that. Another element is that there's other heroes, and it's cool to see the hints of that. An issue for me is I didn't like the title. Something I've been pretty open about is that we've had other movies with Superman in the name, or at least so featured in the name, that therefore I want this to be something unique, something I can really latch onto and not have to clarify which one I'm talking about, for one thing. But also that I feel like this is so much more of an ensemble movie than a typical Superman thing is. Obviously, he's the lead, he's taken away, but there's a lot more to it. So I'd love to see the broader world. I liked how they had the original title be Superman Legacy. Thought that could have been better. Oh well, it's a fitting kind of thing. Along with the music thing about reusing John Williams music and not really building upon it that much, they're trying to copy the older stuff way too much. I thought this was a fresh reboot, but even like the opening title credits, or maybe the closing credits, all that, frequently, all throughout, are just reusing the blue streaks through the air that were used in the classic Richard Donner film. And so, are you making your own thing or not? Is this a fresh universe? Just, I know that things are popular and famous and iconic toward the character, the story, and mythology, but if someone already did it perfectly, there's no need to rehash that, especially when it's a reboot that you're trying to go for in that way. A huge element that I did not like is there are multiple times in the movie in which the media is a huge element of it. Of course, with the Daily Planet, all that, that's something that is dealt with a lot in the Superman mythology. But then there are multiple scenes in the movie in which the media has a giant press conference in some way. There's a big news report that comes out, and virtually the entire world and all other news outlets immediately completely accept the entire story without question. And it's just like mind-boggling about all this, that in our world where there's a lot of controversy around media, sure, but also like you're dealing with manipulation and heroes and things. Okay, it doesn't seem that difficult to manipulate things, so why are you guys also trusting that these institutions are saying things completely accurately? Like, it'd be nice to just have a little bit of the back and forth. You don't have that much time for it in a 2-hour, 10-minute movie, but still, it's an odd thing, especially when it happens twice. It's a little odd, gotta say. David Corenswet, obviously I have to bring him up. Amazing Superman. I thought he was so solid. He felt heroic. He felt human. He felt compassionate. He was just so expressive and strong, with also being willing to recognize when he needs help and rely on other people. There's several times that he does that, and that's so great. I want that for a character who will hopefully be building to an actual Justice League going on there. Yeah, but overall, this is a fun movie. It's a good time. I love seeing an IMAX. It really fills the screen for pretty much the entire thing, I think. I think it fills it for the entire frame all throughout, and yeah, I'm excited to see where this world goes. I've been very cautious about where they're going to go with it. James Gunn, of course, has a nice history, both with Marvel and DC, of helping superheroes in a less orthodox way. And that's something that probably DC needs. It's been too gritty, too tough to fit into all the things that DC really is. DC isn't about just like Batman going against the Joker and all grounded and stuff. There's Clayface and Martian Manhunter. There's some weird stuff out there, and I'm glad they have a sandbox that they can now play in. Apparently we're getting Supergirl next year. We got some Lanterns. There's some cool stuff coming up, and yeah, I'm looking forward to all the places that this universe is able to take us in the future. Yeah, I loved so much of it. It was a great time. I'm excited to watch it again. Although I said there are some issues to it, so I'm not going to claim it's a full A+ knock out of the park. But it's certainly one of the best Superman stories that we have gotten to see on the big screen.